So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create your own custom sign-up page using Clerk's API. In the previous video, I showed you a robust version where we have sign-in page, also have forgot password and the likes. So if you want a complete version, and by the way, it's not really complete because I'm still going to be adding more features. But anyways, the link will be in the description. But in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create just the sign up page. So I already have a next project up and running. So if I go to my VS Code, you can see it's up and running. So you can just create a next project. I'm using PNPN, by the way. So after this, the next thing to do is to go to before we go to our Clerk dashboard, and I'm assuming you already know React and you know a bit of Clerk. So I will leave a link to these docs, or to this doc rather, in the description as well. But it's just a documentation they wrote on how you can build your own UI using their own API. So the first thing they tell us to do is in order for us to enable email and password authentication, which we're going to do in this video, we need to go to our user and authentication page and enable sign up with email. But you need to have a project up and running. So I'll go to, by the way, I need to close this one out. No longer need it. So I'll go to my dashboard. If you don't have an account, I urge you to create one. So I'll go to dashboard. All right, so this one is for the finished version. So let me close this guy out. I'll just click on it here, this drop down. Then I'll click on create application. Then I'll call this one, what did I call it here? Okay, so say Clerk custom API YT, like so. So I'll just enable email and Google. Maybe as we progress, we might enable other social sign-in as well. So scroll down and click on create application. All right, so now we need to install the SDK in order for us to run it. So I'm using PNPM, but if you're using npm, it's fine. So I'll say PNPM and copy the command here. So go back to VS Code and open a new terminal. And I'll paste in that command and hit enter. All right, so while this is still installing, we can still move on to the next step. So they're telling us to create an env file, and I'll copy this guy. So on my root here, say .env, and I'll paste in this one. I'll save as well. Then the next step is to create a middleware.ts. So I'll just create the file and let me copy the command. So still on my root, we'll say middleware.ts. I'll paste in that and save it. Alright, that's been installed, but I don't know what this one is for. Let me just quickly copy this one and let me clear my screen and just paste that in. So I'll hit space and enter. I'll say yes. So I'll clear my screen now, and I believe that's all. So we just need to wrap it in our application, this Clerk provider. So I can close this one out now. Then I'll say layout. Let's just do it right here. So I can just say Clerk provider. So I'll cut it and put it right here. Make sure you import it. Then let's just change this one to just say Clerk custom API. So I'll save now, and I'll go back to our UI. So let me come here. Okay, and go to localhost 3000. All right, so let's just make this place to be a bit much better and get rid of this default page from Next.js. So come here and right here, should I get rid of everything? So the main and the footer will be gone. Then this div, this will be flex min height of SVH. So this is not a Tailwind class, so I won't be spending much time explaining the CSS. So width will be 4, items will be center, and justify will be center as well. Then let's also add a padding of 6. Let's also get rid of this guys as well. By center, and this one should be gone. Okay, to get rid of the image, then inside this div we're bringing a new one. I give this one a width of 4, text will be center, then give it a max width of small. So here I just say this should be Clerk custom API. And we can also use the Clerk component to check if you are signed in or signed out. So I will use the signed in one from Clerk like so. And so if we are signing, let's just say you are signed in, then here can just be a button. So this one can just be sign out. Let's just style it for now. It's not going to be functional. So we say margin type of 4, cursor should be pointer, BG will be blue 700, text will be white, font will be semi bold, PY will be 2, PX will be 4, and just around it like this. Okay, let's see what we have so far. Okay, this is what we have. Then for the background, I think if I go to my layout again, it's supposed to be my global.css. So we'll be using Shadcn to style this. So I think it's just best we install it right now because it's going to change the background of this. So I'll go to ui.shadcn.com. And in case if you don't know, Shadcn is, like they say, the foundation for your design system. So it's just like a starting point for your own design system. And they give you tons of components that you can customize. So I'll just click on get started rather. And we're using Next.js. And again, pnpn, and I will copy this like so. And let me close this one out. I'll paste it here, hit enter. All right, so it has been installed. I'll clear this one out. And I think if we check back now, so if I check back and refresh my page, so it's still the same, but I'm very sure the global.css is now updated. So I need to just restart my server again. So I'll close this one out and say pm run dev, and I will go back and do a hard refresh on this. All right, cool. So it's now updated. So we can go back here, and for the font, let's just use the font mono. So it's going to give us that Geist font that we need. This one here. All right, cool. So I'll go back to my page.tsx file and the class name of flex items will be center, justify will be center as well, then gap will be 2. Then inside this we'll bring in a link component from Next.js rather, and for the class this will be margin top of 4, inline block, background of BG blue 700, text will be white, font will be semi bold, py will be 2, px will be 4, and this will be rounded as well. So also need to add the href. So this will be sign up like so. So this will be sign up. So I will copy this and hold Shift Alt and down arrow key, and this one will be sign in as well. So say sign in. But for this sign in, we won't be using a background, so we just set this to a border. Then we say border blue 700. So I will save and let's see what we have. Okay, so we also need to make the text black, and I think it's black by default. Then also I'll make this one to be like 1.5 pixels. And if the user is signed out, so use the signed out component. It should be signed out, not signed in. And then we bring in a div, and this we have. All right, so I will save now and check. Okay, but this is not really centered on the screen, so I guess the issue is from here. So say display flex, min height should be svh. Okay, width full, item center, justify center, not justify items. Then let's say medium devices and up, hue with 10. All right, so it's not centered. So we just need to create the sign up page. So right there on the app folder, we just say sign up and / just say page.csx. So the next thing now is to go to these docs now. And the first thing you need to do is to go through the step, but since you're watching this video, I'm just going to make that simple for you. We've already done this part by default. We've enabled sign up with email and sign in with email. So if we check again, so I can go to configure. So as you can see, sign up with email is enabled and sign in with email is enabled as well. So we've covered step 2, or rather number 2 in step 1. So the last one is to do the same as well. So select password tab and sign up a password. I think if I go to password, is enabled by default as well. And you can also update the password requirements. So these are the default that they give to you. So if we go here now, there's also a little note that by default the email verification is enabled for both sign up and sign in. So you can choose to add it if a user sign up and if a user signs in. But I personally think it's only best to show it to users when they are signing up for the first time. So in the step 2, the first thing we need to do is to initiate the sign up process by collecting the user's email address and password. Step 2 says prepare the email address verification, which sends a one-time code to give address, which is this verification code. Then collect the one-time code and attempt to complete the email address verification with it. And if the email address verification is successful, we'll set the newly created section as the active section. So what we just did now, or rather, did I create this as okay sign up? I think I might have to delete this one and just copy that one they give to us. So I'll copy this entire thing here and I'll just paste it like so. So I'll hit enter. Then they give us some starter code, so just copy it and I'll walk you through it step by step. So by default, if I paste it like so, and I think that's all for sign up. So if I scroll down, okay, the next one is for sign in. So we're not doing that in this video. I'm just showing you for sign up. So if we go back now, all right, so we're in the sign up page and this is what they give to us. So you can see that the UI is there, but it's not really styled well, but the functionality is working really great. So if I enter my email, so say lawrencetix@gmail.com, and I use that same email as the password as well, and click on continue. All right, so we're getting an error here, so let's see what that is. So you cannot initialize smart captcha because the widget DOM was not found. So we need this widget. I think there's also a guide here, so let's just copy this one so. I'll open it right here. Alright, so I'm getting a 404 error, but let me just close it out. I think it should be here as well. Let's check. So you see bot sign up protection, and if I scroll down, so first we need to enable the bot sign up protection in the attacks protections page. So I'll go back and come to attack protection. If you scroll down, okay, it's enabled by default, so I'm guessing that now we just need to add it. So copy it here and before the button, so we say before the button, so we say, let me just paste it here like so. I can save it now, and if we go back, so you can now see that it's telling us to verify our email. So I'll quickly copy the verification code it sends to my mail and paste it here. So I'll paste it and I'll hit on verify. Alright, so we're now signed in. If I go to my Clerk dashboard and go to users, you should see my mail right here. So you can see that was very simple and straightforward, but the UI that we used is quite ugly, so we're going to build our own. So this sign out is not working, so let's just make that work before creating or making our own UI much better. So I'll go to the page, so the home page, and right here I will just import the user object. So we say not from, so we say equals to use Clerk. So we're bringing in the user object from this use Clerk hook. So in the sign out here, we can say on click, like so. I'll call this function and we'll just say sign out. I actually meant the sign out object, not the user object. Sorry about that. So we can now come here and say on click. So we'll call this function like so. I'll say sign out, and we just say the redirect should be just take it back to the root page. All right, so if we sign out now, that should work. Okay, so this should be flagged as use client like so. So if we check now, so we can sign out again, and you can see that was working. So but what we need to just do, just delete this user and we'll just start the customization process. All right, so I will go back to the sign up page again, but this time let's just walk through the code that we have. So if I go up, first of all, we should not be using this React right here. We should just import new use state directly like so, not this one. So let me get rid of it here. So we say use state, get rid of this one as well. So you're familiar with use states. We just want to keep track of the email address, the password, and it's verifying. So basically, if these two passes, this will fire up so that we can enter this verification code. So for the submission, so if I close this one, this is for the submission. This function right here, while this one is to handle the verification process, why this is the UI for the verification, and this is the UI for the form itself, which is this first one we see, or we are seeing right here. Cool. So what we need to do now is to go back to Shadcn again, and this time we'll be bringing in some components. So I'll copy this one, then let me just open my terminal again, paste it here. Then apart from the button, so I'll just add the other ones we need. So we need the card, also need the impulse, the label, and I think that's for that. So I'll hit enter. All right, so everything has been installed. So we can go back here. The only thing that we're going to add, because the functionality already works, we just want to handle some error states gracefully, so that the user is going to have a good user experience. Because if I enter an email address like so, and I enter a password of, let's just say, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and I click continue, this is not going to work because the password is really weak. So as you can see right here, you can see that the password has been found in an online data breach because the password is quite weak. And I think if I just make it like a few number, it's going to bring in another error as well. And while we're waiting for that, there should be a state like a spinner or something showing loading, because right now it's loading, but there's nothing to keep track of that. But now it's updated, and the second error said password must be 8 characters or more. So these are the error states that we want to render to the user, so that the user will get a visual experience on how to go about the sign up flow. So I'm going to create a new state here, and I'm going to call this one, let me just do it here. Yeah. So this one will be errors, and say set errors, and this will be use state as well. Can type, and so this is going to be of type, let me just add the types here. I think I'll just do it here. So we'll have email, we'll just make everything optional. So this one will be a string. Also have for let me copy this 2 times. This will be for password, this will be for general. So general error is the one that doesn't pertain to these two. So inside here we'll just do the same. So say email, or I'll just hit on tab. So we just want to set everything to an empty string by default. And we also need and is loading state as well. So I can just say it's loading and set is loading. So this one will be use state, and this one will be false by default. So first of all, we're going to just say if there's no sign up. So if no sign up, let's just stop it. So we'll just say return should be null. Then we're going to create a function to validate the form. So I'll call this one validate form, and this will be your values that will take email, which will be of type string, password, which is also going to be of type string as well. And this is going to be arrow function like so. So say if the values, we don't have any values, like so, dot email, let's just set it to trim, so get rid of all the spaces. Then we can just say new errors. Then we want to like assign this okay, Windsurf is giving me a suggestion here, but I'm not going to use this. Basically, we want to assign this value image required to a new object. So let's just quickly create our objects. I'll call this one new errors, and this will be of type of errors like so. This is going to be an empty object. Then now we can just say new errors dot email, then we just say email is required. And you've guessed it, we're going to do the same to the password as well. So this is a better time of using tab complete here. So just hit on tab and we say password is required. Then also remember that we want to see check if the length of the password is lesser than 8. So we can now say else if the values dot password dot length is less than 8. Then we want to set the new password to be password must at least be 8 characters. So we just want to even render this error before even letting Clerk do that for us. Okay, so I think that's for that. Then we'll just need to now set the new errors. So set new, or rather set errors, not set new errors, set errors to the new errors that we've created right here. Then we also want to just return object dot keys and passing the new errors like so. Then the length is equals to 0. All right, cool. So that's for the validate form function. Now we can go to the handle submit, and we can now say after this, let's just do it after this one. So we can say const if it's valid, then I really can't type today, so we say validate form. You can just click on this. Let me just tap this. So passing the email as the email address right here, and password is obviously the password. Then if it's not valid, we just want to stop it from submitting. And this is loaded is just showing if this entire thing is loaded. Then we also want to now set is loading to true right here. And for the sign up process, we're just using this sign up object with the create method, and you can also add multiple method as well here. So there's updates and there are more. So we'll talk about updates when we go to the profile section. So use create, then passing the email address and password. Then we'll send the user an email with the verification code. So that's what this method is for. And you can also use a verification link as well. So either ways, you can let me know if you want to do a video on that, but you can do that yourself. It's fairly easy. Then we just want to now set verifying to true, and right here we just add the finally, and we'll say the set is loading to false. We're going to be spending more time here because this is where we're going to handle the different error states I was showing earlier. So I will save this. For the UI, so we'll just say this would be, let's just wrap this guy here in the card component from Shadcn. So like so, and I will put everything inside. Then I will give this a class name of max width of large, mx will be auto, and margin top of 20. Then this will also have a card header. So see card header, and this card header will have the card title and the card description. So basically you can see this one like the H1, and the card description is more like the p tag. So I'll just import both of them. Then for the card title, we can set this to create your account. Then this one will say enter your email. Let's just say enter your email below to create your account. Then we just say this should be the card content, so the one that's going to hold the entire thing. So say card content, and I'll get rid of this H1. We'll no longer need that. And I'll cut this form here and place it inside. Then I will just create a new div like so. Not data, this should be a div, and this one will hold everything here. So let me just cut everything again. So then I will give this a class name of flex This will be flex core gap of 6. Then inside this one, I'll paste in what I just copied. And for this first div here, which I think is holding the label, I'll just give this a margin bottom of 5. Let's see how it's going to look. Then this one will be using the label from Shadcn, so say label, and make sure that what you're importing is the one from the component, not the Radix UI. I'm going to cross check that if I have been importing the wrong one as well. Okay, I've been importing the right one. Okay, then same thing with the input here. So say input like so, and I will do the same here too. It should be label, and this should be input like so. Then for this one, we can just add a placeholder, because why not? So just a placeholder. I just say I should accept this email here. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to pull up the main one that we're working with. So I think that will be much better because I don't have the UI design in my head. So I'll just come right here and I'll just bring it close to this one. So let me just copy this text and replace it with ours here. Then for the other part, I think we just need to make changes to email and password and add some space underneath them. So I can just say this should be email, and for the class name, it can just be an MB of 2, and again correct this to email. Then this should be password with margin bottom of 2. So let's see what we have. Okay, this is much better. Then again, I feel this margin bottom here is too much, so let's just change this to like 2 as well. So let's see, still too much. So thinking let me just get rid of it, or rather, since it's column, I will just reduce this to 4 instead. Okay, I think this is much better. Then what we need to do here is to style the button, and for the button we'll be using the one from Shadcn. So say button like so, and I don't need this div anymore, so complete the button here, sorry, like this. And for the styling, you can just set the width to full, that should be all. Then let me do that at the end. So you can set the disabled to it's loading. So if it's loading, we want to disable the button. So basically you just want to check. So if it's loading, we want to show loading, else let's just say create account. At least I think that's what I used here. Let me check before I save. Okay, create account. So if we save now and we check back, you can see it's similar. Then we can just say cursor should be pointer. Now it's time to add the error state. So if I click on create account, you can see that nothing is working. First of all, I will just also add the required from HTML like so. All right, so if I click on create account now, it should prompt us to fill this, but I think let me just comment it out for now. I'll add it back. So I just want to add the different error states. So for the email one, so underneath this, I can just say errors dot email. Then we want to now render out I can just render it out like so, and this should be errors, not error. That's what we're getting an area. And let's make the text to be small. I don't want it to be big. So if I save this one and click on create account, okay, before clicking on it, you can even see it already. Then let's see it here. Okay, so which means we need to add a little margin to this guy. So we can just say, I think let me just do it to the input. Let me see if that's going to change anything. So we can just say margin bottom should be 2. Okay, so I think it's quite the same. So I have to copy it here and paste it here as well. Then for the error state, we'll also paste it well underneath this guy. That's what I did here. Then we'll change this one to password, and this one should be password. Okay, so if we go back to our own, you can see password is required, email is required. So if there's an email and click on create account, you can see that email is not required. But regardless, we're going to still add this required from HTML as well. So we can save and go back. That's fine. So what if we have an email but our password is weak? So let's just say 123 and click create an account. And by the way, this is not still kicking in yet, and I don't know why is that. Okay, yeah, it's expected because it's not 8 characters, but let me just do a weak one. So say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. It should work now. Yeah, so it's loading, and this is not going to work. We're going to get an error. All right, so if we click on it here, you can see password has been breached in password has been found in an online data breach. So basically we want to just render this error message on our UI. So how do we do that? If I open my dev tools, you should see the object right here. So basically we want to, I think if we go back, they gave us a URL there. So yeah, so you can see this place in order to handle the error very well. That's what you're seeing right here, but I'm not going to bore you with all those details. I'm just going to show you how to do it. So right here, we'll just leave this error as any. Then let me get rid of this. So we can now say let me still leave this one here. So we can say if error dot errors like so, and error dot errors the length is greater than 0, then we can now create a new variable called Clerk errors, and basically say error dot errors. Then now we want to now say for each of all the Clerk errors we're going to get. So this one is just one. By the time something else, by the time we have another error, it's going to add to it. So we want to now say for each of them. So we say Clerk error dot for each, and we'll say error should be any. So I'm so tempted to hit enter on this because I don't want to type out all the syntax. Okay, so the first one, and we're going to be using the switch case, so I'll get rid of everything here. So the first one is, we'll say switch, and we'll handle cases for short password. So if the password is short, or if the password is this one, the password is pond, so anyone you want to do. So we'll say error dot code. Remember that there's a code here, so we're using the code. You can choose to use anything you want. You can use the message, you can use the long message, or the meta with this param property, but we'll use the code. So we'll say error dot code, and if the case is basically whatever this case is, so I'll copy this one like so, and I'll paste it here. Then this should be in quotes, so like so, and we set error, and we just get the previous value. So we say previous, and just spread over it. I'll just add a new error. So we say password now can be let's just say you can choose to just paste in this entire message, but I feel that it's too long. We can just say password is too weak. Okay, so you can choose to handle more cases as we progress. If the email already exists with that account, it's going to give you another one, and I think for that one I kind of know it because I've done it before, so I'll just add that one. So I will just copy this case here, and before we copy this case, I always forget to add this break, so make sure you break, and I'll copy this like so, and this one will be for form, not like so, so form identifier, I'll just say exist. So basically, if there's already an email address, you can just say email address is taken, please try another. Then let's just set the default one. So in case if it doesn't meet any of these conditions, can I just say same thing here, then we'll spread over it and set the general to whatever the error message is. Or you can just say something like let's just say authentication failed, like so. So we can save. Then remember, we need to just say at the end here, we'll say else. We'll set the errors. So let's just say the general. So unexpected rather, error occurred. So can I save this? And I believe if we go back, and hope I'm not doing this at the right, okay. Oh, I handle submit, right? Okay. So if I click on create account, this time now I should get the error right here. All right, so we're saying that password is too weak. Ignore this one. If you're in production, this is obviously not going to show, but this is what the user is going to see. So let's put in a strong password so that we can create the verification UI. So we'll just say Lawrence takes again. Now paste in this one. So click on create account. Okay, so for the UI for this, I'll close this one out. Then yeah, so if it's verifying, what we'll do, similar thing that we did for this UI, we'll still be using the card component, but this will be a div this time, and I'll give this one a class of flex minimum height of screen items be center, justify be center, p will be 4, and the background will be bg background. Then again, we're going to wrap everything inside the card like we did last time, and let me put in this inside and say process. So let me just copy this entire thing here and paste it here. But for this one, we just say the class name should be width full and max width of medium. Then the header, let's just give this a space on the y axis of 1. And the car title, make it a big, much more bigger. So we'll say verify your email. You know, I'm just going to leave it like this. I don't want to spend too much time doing more style. So say enter the verification code sent to your email. All right, then get rid of this one. And for the card content itself, so let's say card content, paste in this one. Still going to replace this one here, and this should be label, and this one will be input, and this will just be verification code, like so. And for this one, let's just say placeholder should be enter your verification code. And for the class name, this will be width of full, height of 12, text will be large, and large text will be center as well. And let's set the tracking to wide. And you can choose to add like other attribute like max length. So the max length should be 6, and autocomplete, you can just set the autocomplete to one time code. This is optional, but it's something you can add. Okay, this is coming together. And I feel since we have verify your email, I don't think we need this one again. I really don't know, but I don't think it's needed. By the way, let's add a little bit of margin here. So margin 2. Okay. Then for the verify button, this will be from Shadcn as well. And for the class name, you just set to width of full, and I think that should fix that. Yeah. And let me also add I'll put this in a div, and I'll add like a margin of, let's do 5, let me see. Okay, 5 works. Then I can just say cursor should be pointer. Okay. Then for the disable property, so we can just say if it's verifying. So I'm guessing that's not what we called it. Okay, just verifying, not is verifying. So we just say verifying, or the code, the length is not equals to 6. So we just want to make sure that the code they enter is 6 digits. The form should be always, all these buttons should be always disabled. Then we can just set the state to verifying. I just set this one to verifying, like so. I can't spell verifying again. Let me just hit tab on this and get rid of this I right here. Okay, so we can now save and head back. Oh, so I kind of miscoded the entire thing. We should also have a separate state for is verifying, just like we have for is loading. So I think that's where the issue came from. So can you set this to is verifying. And set is verifying, like so. So I'm going to just change this one to is verifying, and this should be is verifying. Okay. So I think we need to repeat the same process again. So quickly add this one. So we can go back now, and for the handle verify function, so after this right here, we can just set it's verifying to true, and this one is just using the code that the user provided to attempt the verification using this attempt email address verification method. So if everything is successful, we want to I don't think you need an await for this. So I guess I will just copy this guy and put it underneath this one and get rid of this entire thing because we don't really need it. Then we no need for await. We can just push the user to the home page once everything is successful. I think that's for that. Then for any other cases, you can choose to handle that here. This video is getting way longer, and for this you can also repeat similar process. So let me just go back still here. So let me go back to this one, and I will just copy the same thing. So I'll copy everything here, so like so, and I'm going to paste, get rid of this one. I'm going to paste everything here, and we'll add it finally. So say finally, sorry, here should be finally, and we set is verified to false back. Okay, this spell code very well, so let me get the right spelling and make that change here as well. Then for this one, most cases that will run into, I'll just do one. In case if you run into another one, you can choose to add that as well. But just say form code incorrect. So if the code is incorrect, I just say incorrect verification code. So save. I think that's for that. So we can now test it. So if I enter like a wrong code like so, I'll click on verify. All right, so the code is showing right here. So incorrect code, but we need to render it here as well. So how do we do that? We need to go back right here and make sure that under this we're passing the same handle error. So I think this was the one we created. So if I save, you should see the incorrect verification code. Then just going to add a margin bottom of 2 here. But then again, maybe in another video we'll be adding the resend feature. We might change this one to a general, because if we click on the resend, we want this message to change. But for now, we'll leave it like this. So incorrect verification code. Let me just copy the actual code and get back to you. So I'll get rid of this one and paste the actual one and click on verify. So if everything is well and good, all right, so we're now signed in, and you can still add the toast message as well after what is that? So after this, you can add a toast message as well if you choose to. And again, you can sign out, and if you go to your Clerk dashboard, you should see the user popping up right here. So let me go to invitations and come back to all. You can see that user. All right guys, so that's it for this video. If you found the video helpful, Do well to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.